would you be willing to become a Muslim?
Well, not exactly. I wouldn't dispute a priori the idea that Muhammad was a true prophet, but I don't understand what that means.
So
obviously, so this is the way I'm going to look at this psychologically again. It's people are granted revelations, and it's obviously the case, let's speak empirically, that the revelation of Muhammad united a fractious society. And so it was a uniting revelation.
I believe that unity is a great objective, but I don't think it's the all-defining one. For example, if there is an injustice that is so great that disunity is more appropriate, then I can imagine situations where disunity is probably better than unity.
Right.
I'm sure you can as well. For example, like in the Soviet Union.
That would be a false unity in some sense,
exactly.
Right?
So that's what we're talking about.
Well, that's why you wanted to address the elephant under the carpet right away.
Exactly.
We can't have a false peace.
Exactly.
And we can't incorporate things we can't yet incorporate.
The question was, if I gave you evidence that would satisfy a certain level of probabilistic...
No.
So you wouldn't?
No, because that isn't how I evaluate the situation.
How would you evaluate it? This is the crux.
Well, I'm a Muslim enough to have been invited to your mosque.
No, you're always invited, even if you're not there.
But I mean this specifically. I mean this very specifically, I don't think in some sense it's a very complicated problem.
Okay.
When people meet me on the street, they'll say things like, I met a couple of Orthodox Jews in New York, and they said to me on the street that they call me rabbi, which was a hell of a thing to hear. And then I have Muslim people who are listening to my biblical lectures, and
More than that, by the way.
Yes, more than that. And, they say, well, Peterson doesn't know it yet, but he's really a Muslim. And that's that's an honor, Just like it was an honor to be approached by these Orthodox Jews. And that hasn't only happened once. And I've had lots of correspondence with people. And the same thing has happened with the Orthodox Christians, and to some degree the Catholics, and lesser so the Protestants. But
I wanted to ask you now, because this is the hot topic, especially in the Muslim community, about your conversion. So tell us the story, like what happened exactly.
Well, I think a lot of people who've been following me for a while understand that I've been very respectful of Islam for a long time.
Yeah, sure.
I was born in a Christian country. I was raised as a Christian, and I've always been very respectful of Islam. And it's become more and more obvious to me and more pertinent that Islam is the last religion on the planet. When I talk about Islam, because I'm new to it, I'm a little bit careful, right? Because I'm new to it. I'm certainly not a scholar. There's so much I need to learn. I know I'm on a learning journey. I'm not here to sit here and talk scripture. I don't know those things yet. I'm here to learn. But it's just, for me, it feels like the last religion on earth. I feel like there's no other religion. People say to me, why did you convert? And I said, I don't really feel it as a conversion. It's almost like I knew God was real, and now I've become religious. And they say, well, you were religious before. I was like, religious before how? Christian? What does Christian mean? Like, who's not a Christian? You go to Christian nations and everyone says they're a Christian. Look how they live their lives. Go into the average church. Is anyone actually fearful of God? Anybody? No, the girls are out on Saturday night drinking, and they turn up to church because their parents made them. Like, there's no substance to the religion. And also, Islam very closely reflects my personal beliefs. Through my personal life, I've learned that if you don't have standards and you're not a strong person who's prepared to defend his ideas, you will be crushed. And we look at most religions in the world today which are not prepared to defend their ideas. What's happened to them? They're just getting crushed. And now we have Christianity as an idea which has basically said, well, we can't set any firm rules because everyone will just quit. So instead, let's make it so easy to be a Christian that nobody has to put any effort in. And then accept everybody no matter what, and hopefully we can keep the church doors open. That's not God to me, God to me is strong. God to me is something to be feared. God to me is someone that people are afraid to mock. God to me is someone that you have to go out of your way to prove something to. God to me has red lines. Like, God to me represents the Islamic faith. The Christian God to me, I don't see God. I can't explain. I don't see anything there. So to me, it was the only logical choice in the end.